Hey guys and gals, welcome to the start of another LEGO set build. Here we have the Great Pyramid of Giza, and this is in Giza, Egypt. This is an architecture LEGO set, and this is set number 21058. Contains 476 bricks, and here we have the manual, and we're going to do bag one. So this is going to be broken down into several different parts. So, very dark, depressing background. I don't know if they were photographing this in the actual Pyramid of Giza. They probably were. So the thing about these architecture sets, they do give you a little bit of history on this stuff. So here we got a picture of the pyramid. So from what we see on the box, from here, this is probably a restored version. This is what it looks like now. Kind of an interesting place. I'd like to explore that. So we have a little bit here, and we've seen him before. This is Anderson Grubb, Master Creator. Now I'm wondering if these guys actually visit these places, because all my builds I've actually had visited at one point in life. So we got stuff like this. This would be really cool to go in here and explore. And then here it tells you about all the parts and stuff. So there's a little bit of history in here. And that's what it is. So bags 1, 2, 3, 4 build the base, which I'm going to have to break down because this will be too long of a video. And then 5, 6, 7, 8 do the top part. Okay. Alrighty. So let's get started. And this time I'm using some dishwasher packs. You know, I have been made fun of and called a noob because I don't use professional sorting trays. Well, those work just as good, and well, if somebody complains about it, they can send me a donation. I'll buy some those ridiculously overpriced trays. Alright, so let's see if I'm zoomed out all the way here. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those very large builds, so just bear with me today. And it is very early in the morning. I slept great. I just have to do work stuff now. So right now we are going to start building just the bag one. So I'm actually comfortable sitting down, relaxing, because guess what I have to do today? Computer programming. Isn't that fun? It used to be a hobby until I started making it into a business, and yeah, that's why I don't want to do LEGO as a business, because then it will not be fun at all. I know some people have stepped into doing LEGO as a business, and some have said they regretted it because it's not a hobby anymore. It's a job. You got deadlines, you know, and it's not quite my scene. Alright, so when I do these type of videos, and I have a feeling that's going to fall down in the crack behind my counter, so I'm going to have to wiggle it. How can I get it there? And now my LEGO table is not attached to the wall. Alright, I'm looking for some of those 1x2 cross axles. There they are. And we even come with a brick separator too, right here. We may need that. Alright, and just by looking at the picture on the book and in here, I'm going to be honest with you, the dark background just turns me off on this set. It just does. So I'm going to put all these in the Tide Pods thing. But putting these type of sets on a really light background, it just makes the colors pop out a bit more. Alright. And let's see here. Hope we don't have to build two of those. And then we stick these here. And I always thought this was kind of illegal because this is kind of flimsy here. It's just hanging on by two studs. And okay, now we need a couple of those big plates we just picked up. And this is something I don't quite understand from these type of sets, from sets targeted for children. They have the outlines on these right here, the red outlines. I do that in mine. I don't care if it's an easy build or a hard build. Sometimes it's easier to put the outlines on the parts. It just makes things a bit easier to build. And for some of us who are visually impaired, it just works. So I guess we're using these for stops, so when we stick the cross axles in there, they won't fall all the way in. We don't want that. And, well, that's kind of odd. We have a blue thing around 1x or 2x2 plate, and we're sticking one of these tiles on here. So there is a little bit of color in here. Maybe that's the parts that the designer was allowed to use. Alright. And I notice, for some reasons, for this just being a very small YouTube channel, a lot of people are watching these for some reason. So maybe, just maybe, we'll do more of these ASMR things. Now, obviously here, I can't tell, I think that's a 1x3. Wish they would have a size scale on it. I think it's a 1x3. Putting that in there is going to be hard, especially with my big finger, so I'm going to put the tiles in before I put the bricks on both sides. And see, stuff like this, that's what I've been doing in mine too, because sometimes you just don't know. And for me, I don't know if I'm partially colorblind, but red is getting to be a hard color to see at times. So, let's see. Whoa, where are you going? You get back up there. Alrighty, let's see. I'm looking for another 1x3 here. Remember the last couple of these I talked about having a non-cluttered workbench. What am I doing? It's cluttered. I need to refinish this eventually. I'm going to build a new one, but I like to find a sheet of white Vermica, and then the other side will be wood grained. So if I'm building something with a white color, the wood grain would be perfect. Wait, we don't do that there. Still not. And just a little bit of an update on things. I was hoping never to do reviews on my main channel, and unfortunately that is not the case anymore. But that's the gig I'm in now, so I'm doing that while I'm doing the customs. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'd rather do custom builds than sets, but since I've been doing customs, I noticed subscriber counts have been going up like through the roof. So, so far the build's pretty good. Okay, well, we're going to have to build a little sub-step here. Let's make sure that's only one piece. And I'll show you something here real quick. That's how you do the manuals, right? No arrows, you just set it right down on there. I already interpret those are two pieces. And I've been doing that too. It just saves a lot of time and it saves a lot of confusion. Sometimes to make your manuals more complicated, it does more harm than good for the builder. And we got a nice lime green flat tile that's buried in here. I think that fits right there. Indeed it does. Okay. And this just sits right here. So I'm taking it, this is probably the support beam. I wonder how they're going to build this base though, because that's kind of large for a base. When I received the set, I thought, oh, this thing's on a big giant base plate or one of those mill style plates. The new, I think it's 16x16 studs that they've came out with. And I thought, wow, they're going to use those. No, they didn't. Hoping they would. That'd be kind of cool to have. And this goes right here and it locks in here. So I think we're going to make one on that side too. Okay. And the temperature out here has been skyrocketing. I mean, one day it'll be like 50 something degrees, and then like a day or two later, it's like 90 something. And it's enough to tire you out, especially when you have to work. Okay, I think I skipped a step here because it's showing me something. Okay, I did miss a whole page. Sorry if you can't see the book though. This is pretty big, so I can't just do that. It's not like something small. And this goes here. Okay. I'm not a big fan of making my own bases, but I do now see why Lego does them like this. You know, the reason why they do, it's not only that it is cost savings, but you don't have to worry about having fragile parts. So maybe I should have slipped these under here first, huh? Oh, you can't even see that. May have to tip the camera a bit. This is pretty big. I wonder where it's going to stop at, huh? Make sure that's really pressed down. Thank goodness for the highlights, because I wouldn't even know where half this stuff goes. Oh man. You know, this summer is not going to be very fun. Because yours truly has to work through the whole summer. And not very fun. I want to make sure I hit the record button. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Now, roll and cut. Some people don't like them raw, but I mean, it's not like eating raw sushi or something like that. This is just, it is what it is. So that's it so far. We're blasting right through this. So, the whole point about doing these recordings is just so I can remember when I do the reviews. I know I've already had a few people already tell me they don't like the reviews on the channel, like why do I do them, and this is actually supposed to go here. You know, like I said, it wasn't something planned, but when I got into all this, I have to review these. This is on a deadline. Like, they're only giving me like 5 or 6 days to get this done. So I had to put off a few of my other stuff. Not tutorials. I'm sorry, but my tutorials will come first before a set build. You know, I mean, that sounds kind of weird for some, but did they ask for palisade bricks there? Indeed they did. You get white palisade bricks too. So if you're on my main channel, don't be like, oh no, Jay's going to be one of those and switch this to reviews. No, I enjoy building my own stuff. You know, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather just build my own things. Build places that I've been or places that I want to visit one day. So they look like the picture. And let's grab a few more of these. So this is actually a very big base at that. It's not something skimpy. And I believe that this set retails for $140 US currency. And it does seem a bit on the pricey side, but you know, one of the things that I do is I look at is parts. What kind of parts do you get in the build? You know. And also, is it entertaining? Is this set keeping my interest? So far, Lego, it's a winner. It's keeping my interest. So that's really good. Oh wow, we're going to have to really slide this thing out. The base is just going to keep going and going. I'm kind of curious to see how big this thing is. I mean, I did the brick exploration, but yeah. There we go. I may have to raise the camera up. I'm going to have to do that. I need to make 4 of these. Alright. Is it the foam base? Yes, it's the foam base and some 1x2 plates. Very colorful bricks for that. Looks like summer colors. And This sits, oh, it sits in this notch here. Alright. So I'm going to have to raise the camera up here after I get done with this, this step. Yeah, it's already big. We're already hitting that limit mark already. And yeah, I mean, so far it is a big build. It's not something cheesy or something weird or anything. Now, even when I build my own houses and I do the mill stuff, yes, these type of plates you have to freehand. They take a lot of parts to make a frame. It's not something pretty easy to do sometimes. I just noticed this. I missed this in the part review. A 2x4 plate with 2 studs, or a jumper plate. Alright. So give me a moment. I'm going to raise this camera up. Alright, I'm back. And yeah, that's right up against the edge of the table. Legos are really maxing this out, aren't they? So, let's see, anything else we got to slip in there? Okay, we got to slip a bunch of these in here. I think once we get the base done, we'll know how big this is. And we will start on that. Ooh, that's not really good. I'm literally going to have to lift that up. That's why these sets are not rated for children, especially with somebody like myself. It's a lot of work. And I got to open up a window. Hold on. Okay, yes, even if it's hot in the daytime in the deserts, it usually gets pretty darn cold. So, like right now, it's probably in the 50s. So, running the air conditioner in the day and cracking open the windows at night and praying that my allergies don't go bonkers, especially with the ragweed. It smells like somebody's got a fire going out there. Could be my camera burning up too. Alrighty. I don't know what they're going to fill that little hole in, or is that just going to be left open? You could have just turned these sideways and filled that in too. And that's it so far. Okay. So far we're going to have to add more tiles around this booger. And they have some plates that go in here. I mean, are these really necessary or something? See, look how flimsy that is. You're putting this together. Make sure you got a lot of patience and plenty of sleep. Because just for me alone right now, you know, it's a big set. You're going to have to really well rested to get this done. Let's see here. Alright, then we put the 2 corner pieces. I think this is the back, this is the front. I'm not really familiar with Egypt, so I may get some things wrong on this. I may say names wrong and stuff, so my apologies in advance. It's one of those places that would be really fun to explore. Just to go and take a walk through those pyramids, just soak everything up. Alrighty. So most architecture sets, usually they're just on a nice black base. Yeah, a black base is fine, but... Alright, so we have to build one of these here, but it shows that you can switch them. So one I think is written in, I don't even know what that is, to be honest, hieroglyphics. You know, and well, I don't know how to read that, but this, I can read this, the Great Pyramid of Giza, so we'll do that one. And it says it goes here. So we indeed do fill that hole in. And that's printed too, that's not a sticker. If it was stickered, I think I'd have to put the stickers on this because it was a promo item. So that's it so far. What do you do with this? I don't know. I probably have to store it somewhere. Okay, so this is funny. Look at this. you just basically shove those jumper plates in there. Okay, that book's not really doing justice. You just take this plate, you stick it in there like that. I mean, what is the point of that for? You know, and it just sits there like this. So maybe there's something that attaches there. Not quite sure. And I was thinking maybe I can group these up in two bags, huh? Maybe just 4 videos. So there's just one piece that goes there. And I think that's a palisade brick that goes there. And there's another plate. We're stacking plates on top of one another. I hate doing that right there. Alright. And you know, something like this, you want to build very slow. You know, you don't want to rush through it unless you're on a deadline, but, you know. And the release date on this, they bumped the release date up by 10 days. So that's what's killing me right now. I would have had an extra 10 days to work on this. No, I don't. Yeah, this makes great ASMR content for some. So if you're here for ASMR, there you go. Just hear me talk and ramble about. Oh, that's a waste of good bricks in there. Okay. So we didn't use 1x1, so we're using 1x1 round bricks. Sometimes I'll be using the tubes in those too. And we got a set of tiles in here. And a slope here. So I think there's something that mounts in this area that can probably be removed in this area. Then why the tile's here for, unless that's just meant for something to sit in there, we don't know yet. How do I not know? Because I haven't built it yet. That's what I'm still doing. Okay. So I guess we're starting the next layer. Okay, where do we start with that? Let's start right here. So it's one brick past the telephone brick. Okay. You really don't want to make mistakes on something like this, because you don't want to be so far in the build and then later on you're like, oh, I'm going to have to take all that apart, and it's like maybe 5 or 6 bags you're going to have to undo for one thing. So you gotta, when you do these creator sets or creator experts architecture, you're going to have to really just take your time. That's what they're intended for. Not intended for you to do these all in one sitting. Some people do. Some people have contests to do these in one sitting. I mean, I don't know why you would. Okay. I think we're just going to break these up into bag segments to keep the videos pretty short. I don't need to be boring everybody to death. At least there's no commercials. Yikes, look at all the parts you got to put in there. And the sides of the pyramid base closely align. Well, you could download the manual and read that. I don't have to bore you with my bad reading skills. And yes, I know how to read. I just stutter a lot when I read, so I don't like to read out loud too much. So we're going to put a palisade brick here. That goes there. And sometimes brick placement is careful. You could put the 1x2 or the 2x2 here or the 2x2 here. But sometimes you got to be careful because there could be a seam or something, and well, you don't want it to be brittle and falling apart. Yeah, that looks like that fits there, huh? I'm just kind of, well, I'm not really guessing at it. Well, no. I thought it was the same on that side. No, it's not. Let me pop those out. It's like, oh, this is going to be easy. It's going to be mirrored, right? No, it's not mirrored. So they fooled me. Well, that's kind of an odd color to throw in there, medium azure. And they put a round brick in there too. Alrighty. We have this one here. Well, no, we have one here in this corner. Boy, that's kind of hard to put that in there. Okay, so far so good. And this one here is bumped here. So it's pushed in a little bit. And then we gotta put a 2x4 there and a 2x2 here. Okay, put that over there, because the instructions told me to. And then we'll set this here. And you know what I'm craving for right now is a juicy hamburger. But I'm not making a hamburger this time in the morning. And I think that's it. Looks like the picture. And then we have extra bricks, so I must have forgot something in here. Okay, I see what I forgot. Right. And then we have one more of these. So, oh, there was supposed to be one in that hole. Like I said, they could be sticking flames or trees or something in there too for extra support. So, of course, I forgot about this. This goes in here. Maybe that's the way to turn on the pyramid, I don't know. We got an extra one of these. So, no major catastrophic errors or anything like that, just a boo-boo over here, because I was only assuming something. And we'll move to bag 2 in the next episode. So stay tuned for that installment of the Great Pyramid of Giza build.